Welcome back to the 19th hole. Jake here, joined by Mike this week as we break down the 2026 Truist. But, you know, we're talking about golf. And what does golf make you think about, Mike?
Family?
Family is the right answer. Make sure you guys, if you are not already, join the IBT Golf family. The IBT Golf family is our free-to-join opportunity to gain access to our analysts, memorabilia giveaways, as well as some other fun goodies. So if you decide to sign up for free, as I said, you get access to all of our chats with our other members, as well as all of the analysts on the team, entry into our memorabilia giveaways, and our contests, such as our PGA One and Done contest. But if you upgrade that membership for $3.99 a month or $36 for the year, you get access to our full betting cards, our weekly betting model, and that's good for not only the golf side of things, but if you are a football fan, a racing fan, or an entertainment fan, we have something for everybody, and you get access to everything listed there. So if you are interested in joining the team, you can join for free at in-betweenmedia.com/chat or with the link in the episode description. But with that being said, the people are here to talk about golf, and we can't talk about the upcoming tournament without talking about what happened last week. So let's head on over to the news so we can break down what happened at the Cadillac Championship. We have to have a conversation this week as I bring up the Cadillac Championship. Who's the best American golfer right now? Is it Nelly Korda or is it Cam Young?
The answer is, who is the best American golfer of the last 7 years?
Scotty Schauffele.
Honestly, there's an argument to be made between Nelly and Scotty.
Sure.
The question here, it's no doubt it's Nelly Korda if you're comparing her to Cam Young. But what Cam Young is doing is special in its own right, but let's not forget.
Yeah, absolutely had to talk about Nelly. The run that Nelly Korda is on right now is what every player dreams they could have in their professional career. Yeah, Korda gets the win this past week. Much like Cam Young over at the Cadillac, was pretty much a blowout. You know, a 4-stroke win for her at El Chameleon Golf Club, winning the Riviera Maya Open. When you just look at what Nelly has done this year, I mean, win Riviera Maya, win the Chevron Championship, a 5-stroke victory there. Did not win at the Aramco, was runner-up, second place. If it weren't for a +3 round 4, would have been solo second. When you look at the Ford Championship, second place, a 26 under performance. There's not many golf tournaments in the world where you can go 26 under par and not win the golf tournament. You get the Fortinet Cup, runner-up finish. The Tournament of Champions, a win this year. Like Nelly Korda's run to start the year, she's either won or came in second in every tournament.
That's what I'm saying. And how many events? Do you remember how many events she won in 2024?
Believe it was like 6,
7. Now she didn't win in 2025, which was mind-boggling. But now we're talking about, nearly a dozen wins in 2 calendar years. That's why I'm saying it's like she's playing in the league she plays in. She is probably the best American golfer of the last several years.
Yeah. When you consider the amount of LPGA Tour events to PGA Tour events, there is a discrepancy there. The LPGA does not have as many tournaments. And Nelly's got 3 majors and 15 other wins since her debut in 2018. That's pretty damn impressive.
So I think we answered this question.
We did.
The horse has been fed.
Yes, Nelly Korda is the best American golfer, but we are going to talk about the Cadillac Championship as well. Mike, you and I had very different viewing experiences of this golf tournament. I think I watched I watched all ESPN coverage pretty much every day of the event. I was home, I was working anyway, so I was just like doing random things where it was easy to have on in the background. How much did you watch?
Well, I think you and I have very, very different just frames of references over the weekend. I mean, I went from baseball to flag football to hosted a Cinco de Mayo party to the theater to the piano recitals. So there was 0 minutes of the Cadillac Championship consumed. And what I thought was interesting was obviously I'm very familiar with Doral. But I guess if I really think about it, like I don't know that I watched a ton of professional, non-major professional golf prior to 2015 when Doral was really popular. So it's like I understand the prevalence in in professional golf, but I don't know that I had this like visceral reaction that social media was having when these guys basically emasculated it. And that we were somehow expecting it to bare its teeth 10 years later. And then we were surprised that the game has changed and it didn't hold up. So I didn't have that reaction, but help me understand, because you saw so much of it. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I think we alluded to this on the PGA Championship preview that we did. So make sure to check out that episode when that comes out this week. The main defense of this course is length and weather. And there was no weather really until Sunday. And even then, it was lift, clean, in place. And Cam Young still had to call a penalty on himself. That guy cannot catch a break when it comes to the water. But, I mean, no, there's just no. I mean, when like a 300-yard hitter is considered below average on the PGA Tour now, I just don't think that was the case in 2016. And a guy like Cam Young who can rip a 340-yard drive and we're not batting an eye. And on a lot of the holes, we saw Scotty hit like a 325-yard 3-wood to the green on a hole. Like with wind aiding a lot of shots and, really no other defense of the course, I think it just played like a driving range, honestly.
That's so interesting because there's a number of courses on tour where you definitely feel like that. And we've talked a lot about, you're going to have something like Craig Ranch coming up. And we've talked about this at even Memorial Park a little bit. Doral is fairly narrow. It's not this, it's Florida golf. Like it's got water hazards. It's, you really can't spray it all over the place. But I think to your point, with nothing else really in the way, just being purely long isn't good enough anymore. And I think it's gonna be really interesting for Quail Hollow as well. Just being purely long, golf courses need to figure something else out. And that even gets to Ronamink and what's going to happen there and how much does a shorter, more nuanced golf course really hold up? I don't know the answer. Outside of the US Open getting extremely radical conditions, I don't know what the defense is. And I'm not getting into a rollback conversation. The guys are going to be really good regardless.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how sport works.
Yeah. I mean, to put things in perspective of how comparatively short a 7,700-yard course played, Cam Young, the winner, in most of his events this year has gained 15 to 20 yards on the field off the tee. Only gained 8 yards off the tee on the field this week. Like everybody was just able to send it. And I think, people want to argue for the rollback, like you mentioned, and they want to argue for other things. We just need to not play on golf courses that don't test players. I mean, like this is like, don't get me wrong. I think this course still played hard-ish. It was not like an easy event by any means. I think some people are blowing the easiness of the event out of the water just because of how good Cam Young looked. But I mean, we saw like Adam Scott on round one, dude fires a 76 and then had to fire 71, 66, 64 to get back to a top 5 finish in the event. We did see probably more people under par than we anticipated here, but over half the field finished worse than 4 under par. Like it still wasn't an incredibly easy event. We're not talking about like a 20 some under par event for every player. It was almost that for Cam Young, but I think it's just, I don't know. like when Sepp Straka can win or top 5 at a 7,700-yard course, like we got to reconsider this as a venue for the tour.
So it kind of pushes us further into the narrative here of you don't just get to make events special because you say they're special.
Right.
And so Doral is now going to be a casualty of this signature event format, which Roll App is going to fire into the sun.
Oh,
because it is a waste. It's a waste of everybody's time, including the players. And we've totally diluted whatever it means to have great players play together. This is people have been talking about this for years, so this isn't anything new. But I think this is going to be like a final straw that just says we don't. This was Live Golf. Like this effectively was Live Golf this weekend.
Yeah, it was just an event, and like there wasn't a ton of fans there. Like, not to get too political, but given the owner of the golf course, you're alienating a good portion of the fan base who simply won't attend a venue like this. And again, outside of distance, like, yeah, historically this course has been very hard, but Mayweather in Florida's not bad. Like, it's not I'm good with signature. I'm over signature events.
Well, they're so annoying, especially from DFS, where you're used to leveraging cuts to get ahead on the markets. Like it really just sucks left and right. Can I comment on 2 other things? Absolutely. I have one really quick bit. The 4 best men's players right now on the PGA Tour, arguably Scotty, Rory, Cam, and Big Fitz. I do feel the need to specify now that we have 2 Fitzes and there's now Big and Little on tour.
It's funny that he's Big Fitz because he is the older brother, but Alex is bigger and hits it farther. But I get what you're saying.
That's like me and my brother, 4 years younger, is bigger, stronger, hits it farther. But I love that you have really, I'd say, 4 different approaches to the game, 4 different golf swings.
Oh yeah,
completely different golf swing. Probably 3 of the most interesting golf swings that you're really going to see on tour. And then Rory, who I would say is very prototypical. If you could build a golf swing around him or Adam Scott, that's what you would do. But so for all the listeners out there, I mean, swing your swing.
Yeah,
these guys are doing this with warts and all, and it is so much not about the motion that the club makes. It's about so many other fundamentals. And I love seeing that every single week.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Young, the pause at the top. I know a ton of people who try to pause at the top. I need to go back to it. Honestly, I was hitting my driver the best when I did pause at the top. And then, I mean, you have Scotty. If any golf coach teaches you that footwork, find a new golf coach. You have Fitz, who's jumping and flying open on every shot. He also does this before every shot, which is
the whatever you want to call that, like a reverse fly.
Yeah. And then even Rory is a 5'9", 5'10", 180-pound guy who can generate as much.
So generous. He's like 5'7".
Yeah. We're talking about a guy who's essentially, like, on paper, slightly smaller me. Like, he's probably about the same weight that I am. I'm a couple inches taller than him. And the dude generates 195 mile an hour ball speed if he wants to.
He can squat like 450.
Yeah. Like, and then you look at just what the game of golf is now. And it's, like you said, it's just different approaches, different ways to get to the same outcome. And yes, there are things in the golf swing that are extremely important. But the most important part is getting the club face to hit the ball and have it go in the direction that you want it to go to. And if you've got something in your game that makes that happen, just roll with it. Don't try and have this beautiful swing on paper. When my swing looks the best, if you were to take videos of my swing, is probably when I'm playing my worst golf.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I would say it's like for me, there's a time and a place for video. In fact, my coach won't show me video anymore. He just says, you don't need it. We're going to work on the things. You can trust I'm looking at these things, but you don't need to see it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I love that. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. The other thing I was digging into, I mean, so Scotty Scheffler finishes with his 3rd consecutive solo runner-up. Like that, I mean, it's just weird to see that in somebody's tournament history for the year. Third consecutive runner-up. And so I just got kind of curious around, Scotty's amassing quite a few runner-ups. And I was trying to figure out, like, where does that place him in terms of other greats?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started with Tiger as a natural comparison. I was like, what did Tiger do from a runner-up standpoint? And, so Tiger finished with, I believe, 38 total, 31 total runner-ups, 7 of those being majors. And I thought that seemed low, given that Scotty is already at, I believe, 19. And but his runner-up rate is about twice of what Tiger's is. But Tiger's win rate is about twice of what Scotty's was.
Right.
And basically it comes down to the point that Tiger was so busy winning during his prime. I'm talking like pre-2005. So busy winning during that era that he just didn't finish runner-up all that often.
Right.
And Scotty's got less of that, like, he's got less of that stone cold killer, like, I'm going to win 95% of my 54-hole leads. I don't think we've really seen him blow a lot of 54-hole leads. But Scotty seems much more content in just kind of going through his process and getting himself into contention, whereas Tiger was very, very keen on, I must eliminate all prey in this field, and that's what I'm going to do. But the guy that, so I think it's interesting in the trajectory that Scotty has right now is he's going to surpass Tiger in runner-ups probably in the next couple of years. But the record that's out there, and I knew this, and I tucked this into the end as I was digging through, is that Jack Nicklaus finished a runner-up 19 times in majors alone. 58 total runner-ups on the PGA Tour. Now, obviously, like, the depth of talent was a lot different then, and we can do all the generational comparisons we want. But just keep in mind that he finished runner-up in 19 majors. Absolutely incredible. I don't think Scotty will touch that. I think before he gets too close to 58 runner-ups, he's going to get bored with golf and go do whatever he is going to do in his late 30s. But just to keep in mind that what Scotty, the pace he's on these second place finishes is actually going to be pretty special at the end of the day, even if the wins aren't coming.
Yeah. So while you were bringing that up, talking about the 54-hole leads, as of May 2026, Scotty has converted 15 out of 24 54-hole leads into victories.
That's surprisingly low to me, and I'm almost curious now what the 8 or 9 events are that he didn't convert in.
I'm sure I can find them. However, Tiger Wood only lost 4 times on the PGA Tour when he had a 54-hole lead. Scotty's conversion rate of 54-hole leads at 62.5% is elite. By any stretch of the imagination, Tiger's was 93.2%. That's
what I mean. He's too busy winning.
Yeah, I think the main difference between Tiger and Scotty, just to be blunt, I think Tiger's high was better, especially compared to the fields that he was playing in. And Scotty, I think, is always going to be in contention in events. He's no longer, at least in 2026, been the guy that you have to beat to win an event. It has been the case the last few starts to an extent, right? Like Cadillac, you could beat Scotty in this event.
That got closest to the runaway winner.
Right. And then you have the Masters, like that came down to the wire for sure. If Rory has a slightly better weekend, obviously we're looking at that event differently. Heritage was a playoff loss to Fitzpatrick. So, Scotty is right there. If Tiger's right there, he says, screw it. I'm either going 9 under or 6 over today, and there's no in between. And it's very rare that Tiger went 6 over. So that's how that boils down. But yeah, it's interesting. I think historically speaking, I think Tiger is the greatest golfer that we've ever seen. I think Scotty has a legitimate chance to get to number 2, but he's got to start closing more. He's got to get that mentality. And as you mentioned, maybe he gets bored. The purses are a lot bigger now than they were for a Jack Nicklaus, for even a Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods made most of his money off the golf course.
I think he's going to get bored.
It's certainly possible. But, Cam Young had a great Cadillac championship. I had a great week overall. 18 of my 20 DFS lineups made it, hit the outright on Cam in the show last week, which was the second outright hit of the year for me. Took down the Fantasy Spin main event. And if you guys didn't know, Fantasy Spin is now a sponsor of us over at the 19th hole. For those of you who aren't familiar with what Fantasy Spin is, it's a different kind of daily fantasy experience. It lets you spin your lineup much like a slot machine to an extent, make your picks and compete in tournaments based on these players' performances. Much like a slot machine, you can hit the jackpot, or you can pray that your lineup makes it through if you don't use your locks properly. It combines the skill of drafting a DFS lineup with a captivating gamified experience. You can enter contests and spin your DFS lineup for a chance to win big, like I did last week. Third main event takedown of the year. Good luck beating me at this rate. We're doing pretty good. I'm on my Alex Fitzpatrick number right now, or Matt Fitzpatrick number right now. We're trying to get a little bit past that next week. But you can play for free. You can play with cash. But either way, Fantasy Spin has you covered. Make sure to check out the link in the description and use promo code IBT Golf and deposit at least $10 and play at least one tournament, and you will get $30 in bonus play. This all supports the program over here directly. It supports Fantasy Spin, obviously, as well. It's a really great team over there. So just wanted to make sure to shout them out. But, Mike, the people are here for Quail Hollow. We are here for Quail Hollow. So what do you say we get these caddy notes ready and break down the course? As we know, Mike, I love your course breakdowns. You write them up so beautifully. You have fun with them too, which I appreciate. So tell the people about Quail Hollow.
I never thought this would be a calling in my life, but
we found it.
On an every other week basis, I can handle it. The Truist here at Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. First of all, Jake, how do you feel about golf clubs, country clubs, just going with club as the denotion on their name? This is just the Quail Hollow Club.
I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. Not a fan.
It's a little ambiguous. I don't know if they don't say country or golf. I don't know if there's a pool or not a pool. I'm not even quite sure what I'm getting.
I know the host of this event last year is cricket. It's Philadelphia Cricket Club. I know they have go play cricket there.
See, it's just a little confusing. Well, they do have golf at Quail Hollow. They have a certain kind of golf. From a TV viewing standpoint, not really my cup of tea. I really wish that the broadcast would do a better job of helping me understand what makes certain golf courses special. But there is a certain kind of golf at Quail Hollow, and I call it big boy golf. This is one of the longest venues that we will get on the PGA Tour all year. It is a 7,600-yard par 71, and it is going to beat up players purely based on its length. It's difficult. It's grueling. It takes a lot to get through this golf course. Last year in the PGA Championship, Scotty did get to -11. And so players can score on it. Mm-hmm. But there basically is a single through line in what does well here. And it's hitting the ball as long as you possibly can off the tee.
We should also clarify, Scotty got to 11. Nobody else got past 6.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He did what he does, and he just kind of out consistencies everybody in some of these events. But all the other trouble here is fairly moderate. Like, yes, you can get into some trees off the tee. Yes, there are some corridors that are kind of interesting. There's water on a handful of holes, but the bunkering is moderate. It's 7,600-yard par 71. You have to hit the ball really far. Yep. And the difference between the PGA and the Truist, or what was the Wells Fargo, is the conditioning. And at the Quail Hollow, they're going to keep the conditions tough, but not extreme. At the PGA Championship, they dial it up a little bit more. So the rough's going to be a little bit shorter. You got the POA Triv overseat on the greens to kind of calm down the Bermuda green. This is just like Quail Hollow is got a reputation. Mm-hmm. They get away with it because of its length. there's nothing really else interesting about the golf course. And we're going to have a pretty homogenous stat profile in terms of what gets it done at Quail Hollow.
Yeah. And like you said, it's very clear what it takes to play well here. As you mentioned, we're not seeing it in PGA Championship condition. They could make it that if they want, especially on the greens, right? They have sub-air system here, similar to what Augusta has, where they can change the greens and how they play so drastically overnight just by flicking a switch and adjusting the moisture in the grass and how warm it is compared to how cool it is, adjusting it so you don't have dew on the greens in the morning. There's so many things that they can do with the venue. But I mean, outside of length, right, we're talking about a relatively flat golf course. You can get into tree trouble. You almost have to try to. The rough's like 2 inches. It's nothing crazy. You have bunkers in play. You've got a few holes with water, but it's a straightforward course. It's still a test, right? It's not like we saw last week at Doral, where it's just, all right, hit it far. You're going to be able to find it. Oh, you don't really have any, just go for the green now. If you miss, just chip it. There's still complexity to this course, even though it's a long course, but it's not a shot maker's paradise. You do need it, right? Like the greens will tend to play firm. You're hitting long irons, woods on approach into these greens just because of the lengths. You do have to be able to make some shots in that aspect. But we've seen plenty of players. Lucas Glover said, we're hitting such long clubs into greens. If you have to be able to hit fades into these greens to stick them, or hit draws short and let them roll up. Victor said a lot of the greens at this venue, you're not even caring where the pin is. You are simply just trying to put the ball on the green. And so that certainly offers something different, right? This is not a attack heavy course in terms of, seeking the pin extremely heavily, but it's still, if you can hit it 340 yards, you're probably going to have a good time.
Yeah, it definitely rewards getting the ball up in the air too. I mean, if we start to look at like what you want out of a profile of a player, I started with, I want elite driving, and specifically on distance. And then I want elite carry distance. Yep. I want balls that are going to stay in the air, carry a lot of the trouble. And also when I'm getting into the green, are coming down in a little straighter of a line. Because you said it's so hard to get the ball into these spots. Elite long iron play. And that's kind of it. Like hit the ball far, not even particularly straight, just not into trouble. But like you said, so it's just, like I said, it's a very clear path to victory. And I think you had some stats that were just like the 10 last winners are top 15 in driving distance. Like,
I think it was since 20. I think it was since 20. It might have been since 2010. I think the only winner who was not top 15 in driving distance was James Hahn in 2014. You have to be able to hit it far to be in contention here. Just end of discussion, unless you go nuclear and have a weird week like James Hahn did. I don't even know why he won that event. It was James Hahn. We're still trying to figure that one out. But I mean, like you said, right, we're looking at third longest course on tour this year. It has the 12th fewest bunkers. Water is only in play on 6 holes. In theory, this should be the 7th toughest golf course on paper that players will see this year. And
it probably will be. The point though is like, we're not getting there in any way that's particularly interesting.
Yep.
It's just, it's long and it's difficult to play. And so, other things that I'm trying to mix in, I mean, it's funny because I think my profiles are becoming like very consistent week to week, and you're trying to create a high floor in your betting card and your DFS lineups with guys that hit the ball really well. And so where are you going to find an edge? And I guess for me this week, I am going to be adding a lot of weight onto long, difficult golf courses and a lot of weight onto Quail Hollow experience. I need some guys that have a tendency to pop in these conditions, because at this point, it's like everybody hits the ball far. Everybody's hitting it good from 200 plus. Everybody's pretty good on Poetriv. And so I got to find some differentiation, and I'm going to probably look for guys that are just comfortable here. We'll get into that in the picks, but I don't really have much else of interest in my model.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Statistically speaking, you and I have very similar models here: driving distance, carry distance, long approach, putting. I have 3-putt avoidance in there. This is certainly a course where anytime you get these larger green complexes in play, 3-putt avoidance certainly comes into play a lot more than a course, like 2 weeks ago at the Heritage. 3,500 square foot greens are certainly different than 6,600 square foot greens. 3,300 square foot greens would still be awesome. My munis could learn a lesson or two. But yeah, we have very similar models. It's a very straightforward event in terms of kind of the statistical profile that we're looking for. And then comes in, some of the things that we've talked about. We wish we had better ways to quantify, like how much dog does a player have in them? Which guys, if they do give, I wish we had a better stat to kind of show if a player gets himself into trouble, how effectively they get themselves out of trouble, right? It's a course where we're probably going to see pretty consistent scores at the top. I don't think the scoring is really going to be too different than what we saw at Doral overall.
No, I mean, this course has a history of 10 to 20 under par.
Yeah, it's certainly a course that players can go low, but we know why you guys are here, right? You're here for the picks. So let's get on over there and start talking about the odds boards and everything. So let's get these clubs twirling and start talking about our plays for the week. When we look at the books this week, I think they're pretty much what we expect at this point.
Yeah, garbage is what I expect at this point.
Yeah. You have Rory going off between 5.5 and 6 to 1 as the favorite on every book that we're looking at here. Cam Young second at 8.5 to 9.5 to 1. Xander is the next up on the board there. But why is Ludwig? Why is he 15 to 1, 16 to 1? Why is Siwoo Kim 25 to 1? Like, the dude hasn't won since when?
I think half the field is 50 to 1 or less.
Yeah.
These and this goes back to the signature event formula. You can't even get the betting markets excited about these signature events. And so the ownership's going to be out of whack in DFS. I can't get any leverage, especially in the top 10, 15 guys on the board. There's really nothing all that interesting. We're going to bet on it, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. It's been just kind of gross all year.
It really has. And I think it's to the point where we almost just have to stop talking about it, unfortunately, because it's just so... I just expect it. Every time I look at the odds once they fully load, I use Data Golf. I compare odds through, 5 or 6 different books, and I'm never surprised. They're exactly what I expect them to be pretty much every week, which is
Siwoo Kim 24 to 1.
Yeah.
What?
Patrick Cantlay. When was the last time Cantlay was legitimately in contention to win a golf tournament?
3 years ago.
Maybe the Tour Championship, but even then, that's one of those he was runner up at 15. Fleetwood won at 18 under. Really wasn't close at all. It's these odds are clustered at the top. The only way to really, make a ton of money on an outright is hitting on one of these 40 to 50 to 1s. But as you mentioned in the signature event, you got to pick one out of 35 golfers that fall into that range. And, it is like you said, we're going to bet on it. That's what we do. We have fun. We like golf. This is what we do. But starting off here, I am in agreement with you in your first play. My model prefers kind of the player that you chose to them, but I'm also going against my model in this aspect. We're both kind of starting our cards off here with Xander at 12 to 1.
Yeah, so I was comparing Xander's profile to Ludwig because frankly both guys rate pretty high in my model.
That's my 1 and 2.
Okay, one of your 1 and 2. I had Xander second and Ludwig 8th here, and so I'm trying to look for models. Sell me on one of them, because we say this every time I talk about Ludwig. I think we say this the exact same thing every time. God, he looks so good on paper. Where are the results? And he does look so good on paper. It's like, he's second in birdies or better, third in bogey avoidance, 11th in 3-putt avoidance, 5th in strokes gained total, 8th in driving distance, 7th in carry distance. Like, he does all the things right for a hard golf course. Actually, he does all the things right for a hard golf course. Strokes gained.
He's off on hard golf
until he tees off on hard golf courses, long and very long golf courses, very difficult conditions. I got him 57th out of 72 in the field. Like, exactly right. As soon as he tees off on a hard golf course, throw all that stuff out the window.
Can I point? It's the exact opposite of what it was last year. Last year, it was like Ludwig is playing an easy event this week. He's not gonna play well.
Yeah.
And last year it was like Ludwig at the Masters. Top 10. Give me it. Like, last year it was like, all right, hard course, bet Ludwig. This year it's like hard course, probably look away.
Yeah, and it's like, his game is built for success in difficult conditions. So I don't get it. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to be paying something around that price in that 12 to 16 range, well, I might as well go with a guy that has elite history on this golf course. Yep. And if you do listen to our PGA preview, has been playing really good golf after he missed the cut at the Farmers at the beginning of the year. I have him first in the field in course history, and that includes a field that with Rory McIlroy in it. And so Xander plays really well here. He's hitting the ball crazy good with his irons right now. I don't know. I think Rory's going to be a tough opponent this week, but if I got to pick kind of a 1B guy here, I got Xander.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat as you. Xander, he's getting bumped up the odds boards, I think, because partially of his history, his recent form. Obviously, 7 straight top 25s, 4 straight top 12s. He's playing great golf right now. He's got nothing when it comes to short game, but the irons have had extremely great weeks where he's gaining, 8.5 strokes in the event with the irons. The driver over the last 2 starts has been the best that it's been all year. There's just nothing to speak of when it comes to short game. And luckily, this is a course where you typically don't need a ton. You don't need to have a phenomenal week with the putter. Big greens, you don't really need your wedge game to be that solid if your iron play is going to be good enough where you're going to hit most of the greens. Like, it feels like an event that Xander can win. Xander's kind of falling into that category too, where it's like they're both just they both feel like Scotty without the upside right now. Like, for DFS, I like them. I love both of them, right? They're going to put up good performances week in and week out for the most part. They're going to have solid rounds where they're going to get us DFS points. When it comes to the outright market, like, the last event Xander won was the Bay Current Classic. So not exactly a prestige event on tour. And then you got to go back to his Open win in 2024. And 2024 was the last time he was really like in contention every single week. He's definitely, he's got 2 top 5s this year, 2 other top 10s. As I said, 7 straight top 25. So he's clearly playing good golf. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, though, where it's like, I would add Cam Young in there too. Like, I see Rory winning. If I don't see Rory winning, it's Cam. And then Xander's the only other name in the range that is really interesting, which is why when we look at our cards here, the next jump that we make, we go from 12-1 straight to 33-1 with Adam Scott.
Yeah, they're like, you're not getting much. I mean, frankly, the board drops off pretty fast. Like, there aren't that many guys between Adam Scott and Xander Schauffele. There's only 5 names.
Yeah, 33-1 is on 33-1 on FanDuel is the 8th best odds.
Yeah. So it goes down, you get that jump. So basically the board's telling us, hey, there's 4 guys that are actually good, 3 guys that are actually good. Then we're going to put everybody else who's interesting. We're going to just cram them between 30 and 50. And you either got to choose, you're going to, which pool are you going to pull from? Adam Scott, listen to the PGA Championship preview as well, because this guy is almost 46 years old, and he is hitting the ball probably better than he ever did. And I'd have to go back and look at kind of what his stat profile looked like way earlier in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't putt for the life of him, which is too bad, because this guy is the best ball striker in this field, especially in the buckets that we want him in, 200 yards and longer, and maximizing your distance off the tee. He's doing all the things right in the top of his bag. I don't understand why he can't get the ball in the hole. Has he always been a terrible putter? I mean, I'm looking back through his data golf profiles, and the answer is kind of yes. He's had a couple of stretches, but
yeah. So I'm on BetSperts on their rabbit hole, using his profile on a year-to-year breakdown. His strokes gained putting thus far this year compared to last year are identical at minus 0.14 strokes per round. His peak over the last 10 years has been 0.42 strokes gained per round with the putter. So it's not anything spectacular, where his game has changed over the last couple of years. Last year, his strokes gained ball striking was 0.4 strokes gained per round. He's at 1.21 this year. He's picked up 5.5 miles an hour of ball speed from last year to this year. Tee to green, nearly an entire stroke, which is hilarious because off the tee, he's nearly identical, even though he's hitting it 6 yards farther, has 5 more miles an hour of ball speed, and is 2% more accurate. Like, if the putter gets back to where it was at that, gaining a quarter stroke per round, like, his profile doesn't look too dissimilar to, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago, Scotty, where it was like, if the dude could just putt on paper, he'd be winning everything right now.
I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand how he can go in his last 4 events. Obviously, he was 56 at the Players, hit the ball terrible off the tee, but 21st, 24th, and 4th, his last 3 times out. I mean, he lost 1 to 3 strokes on the putting on all 3 of those events. Like, we're not asking for much. We're asking him to go find, gain a half a stroke, gain 1 stroke. I mean, he did it earlier in the year in some of the Florida events. I don't know. I haven't seen him play enough to have any speculation to why or what. But this is what I'm begging of Adam Scott. Turn that generational ball striking season into something really special. A 46-year-old PGA Championship winner would be awesome this year. And I think there's no better way for him to do it than to contend this week. I'll bet him 33 to 1. I kind of don't want him to waste. If he's going to win once this year, I don't want him to waste it on the Truist. But he's playing so good.
Yeah. Like you said, on paper, it just makes so much sense. Just another guy who kind of pops across the board in the model, except for the putting aspect of things, which is unfortunate. But hey, if I can bet a 46-year-old with 185 mile an hour ball speed, I'm going to do it every once in a while. And this feels like a great event to do it in. Like you said, yes, it's a signature event. Yes, I think winner gets, it's like 3 points. It's signature event. It's usually like $3.5 to $4.5 million for the win. That, like, on paper, that's good. It'd be much more fun to watch him win in 2 weeks at the PGA Championship. So, like you said, if he is going to win one, go win that one for me, Adam, please. Already have a future on you, so that'd be sick. But yeah, it just makes a ton of sense, especially at the value range here. Next guy that kind of pops for me, and I'm very interested to see where you are on this. This is the second time this year that I'm betting Jordan Spieth to win a golf tournament. I may need psychiatric help at this point if I keep doing this, but he's 7th in my model. He's playing really good golf. He's 20th in the field in driving distance. He's top 20 in scrambling. He's 10th in putting, 9th in 3-point avoidance, 7th in strokes gained total over his last 30 rounds. He's top 20 in bogey avoidance. He's top 20 in birdie or better percentage, top 20 on comparable courses, top half of the field and distance from edge of the fairway. His long iron play has sucked, and that's really what's holding him back. I think as a whole, if he can just rein that in a little bit, like he's 19th in the field in strokes gained on approach, but he's not doing well on long irons. And if that's the case, make the adjustment. put yourself in a spot where you can hit a 6-iron or a 5-iron. I'm saying long irons and then I'm going backwards. Put yourself in a spot where you can hit an 8-iron in, Jordan. Get your 8-iron like 165, 175 yards. Just do that. Please. I'm begging.
I think the two things there's three things holding me back on Jordan Spieth this week. And I don't dislike backing Jordan from your perspective. I've already been on this show and I said, I am done spending money on Jordan Spieth.
Which is the smart thing.
I think that's exactly what you said. You said something like, you're a smarter man than me. Yeah, I'm done betting money on Jordan Spieth. So I'm not going to bet him. Like I said, I don't dislike it, but there were a couple things holding me back. One was that. Two is his long iron play, like you said, has been really poor. And we've already said at this golf course, the only thing that really matters is how far you can hit it off the tee. And it's 7,600 yards. You're still going to have a lot of long irons.
Yeah.
Here's the surprising thing to me about Spieth, and I know our models are probably tuned slightly differently. I have him 15th in driving distance. It does seem slightly preposterous, but he's hitting the ball probably long enough in this field to play well at Quail Hollow. I say that. The third thing holding me back on him is his course history.
Yeah,
I have him. It's not great. I have him. I'm 55th out of 72 in course history on here. And you just go back. He's played Quail Hollow 4 times professionally, cut last year at the PGA T29 at the 24 in Wells Fargo, cut at the 2023 Wells Fargo, and then back in 2017 played. So not very good course history at Quail Hollow, missing one of the key aspects. But you can't really, it's either you got to bet this range or you got to bet somebody at 12-1. So why not Jordan Spieth?
Yeah. At least he's not like 30-1 anymore.
No, this almost becomes like I know there's a lot out there like, hey, Jordan Spieth may never win another tour event. The guy's a complete head case, all possible. But this becomes auto bet territory when he starts creeping 50, 60, 70. Like he can do it. He's been there.
It was like, that was the Colin range for a long time.
Yep.
That's the number still where like, if Akshay's in this range, I'm probably betting him at this number as well. This range is gross. Like, I mean, so like if you're looking at the odds board as a whole, using DraftKings odds, you have Ben Griffin and Nicolai Højgaard at 48-1. And then you jump straight to Keegan at 56. And then there's like 2 guys in that 50 to 60 range. And then you jump straight to the 60s. There's 10-ish guys between 60 and 100. And then everybody else is 100 plus to 1. Like a third of the field is 100 to 1. And there's 10 guys in that like 40 to 50 range at most. It's just a weird range, but I'm still a believer in Jordan Spieth. I think it's mental game more than anything, but why not light a little money on fire this week? Don't do that. I'm going to do it. Don't do it. Unless he wins, and then I look like a genius. But as we continue to move on down the board, Nicolai Højgaard, who I mentioned, best odds for him, FanDuel 55 or BetMGM, 55-1. Next best would be DraftKings 48-1. Don't bet him on FanDuel 40-1, but still decent odds that you can get out there on Nicolai.
Yeah, and when I wrote this up, I think he was 58, and his number now
he opened 56-1.
It's coming down. So I guess maybe there is something there. If the money's moving in on him, nothing for me, nothing other than a guy that we know that can just flat out move it off the tee. That's really been his game. Top 10 really in all driving categories in the field. His iron play has been better than it ever has been.
Yep.
And that to me is enough to be interested if we're going to try to get a little bit of leverage this week, a guy that can drive it off the planet, right? He can be better than everybody in the field, and he is finding something with his approach game. Not a good putter in general. So we're hoping, like we're talking with Adam Scott, we're just hoping for some kind of positivity out of that, and we'll see Nicolai near the top.
Potriv is arguably his best putting surface statistically, which is beneficial given this week. Still not even gaining a half stroke per round on average on these greens, but if you have a spike week, if the iron stay consistent, really, for him over the last few events, driver accuracy has been poor. He's 47.3% driver accuracy over his last 8 rounds.
Which we don't care. Now we probably want to look this inside your fairway because
which I do have in the model this week.
Yeah. You can, if you get really sideways, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah.
Tough.
That's it. That might not do it. But I like the rest of the game in his top of his bag. Certainly give him enough to work with this week.
Yeah, and when we're in this range of plays, and I think this is a good advice in general for bettors. If you're not picking one of the favorites, you have to look for guys who at least have some elite traits. And Nicolai is an elite driver of the golf ball distance-wise. We're talking about a guy who's second in the field in carry distance. Like, the dude hits it a mile. That can help you in a lot of situations. And if you have a week where you are squaring up the club face and the ball is going exactly where you want it to go, it doesn't. My coach and I have talked about this. Like, the difference between hitting a like if you aim dead center on a fairway, the difference between hitting a fairway and being 10 yards off the fairway is like 1.5 degrees of your club face being open with the driver. If that 1.5 degrees that he's missing goes away, we're in for a treat.
Do you think what blows your mind from a physics standpoint more? That like hitting a golf ball consistently for any stretch, more than 2 or 3 shots, or the fact that baseball players can hit a round ball with a round bat 450 feet.
As a baseball guy, I will die on the hill that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do effectively in the entire world.
Yeah, and it has to be.
And maybe my second hot take is that golf is the second hardest sport in the entire world. A lot of people say hockey. You have an argument. It's easy to, if you get enough people who know how to skate and put them on the ice, they could figure out how to play hockey. If I grab 20 baseball players and throw them on a golf course, we're going to lose 300 balls in 6 holes. And we're going to be drunk by the 7th. But moving on, Pierceson Coody for me at 100-1. Again, just a guy who I think has some of those pop traits that I'm looking for this week. Another extremely strong driver of the golf ball. I have him 14th over the last 30 rounds in driving distance, 8th in carry distance. Approach proximity from 200 plus. He's 16th in the field, so the long iron play, wood approach shots have been very solid. 24th overall in approach. Another guy, though, 65th distance from edge of fairway, 66th in bogey avoidance, 65th in 3-putt avoidance, 70th in putting in this field.
I was going to say, Pierceson had a really nice start to the year.
Yep.
And he seemed like he had one of these games that was going to land him at the top half of the tour quickly. Guys like Thor Bjornsson and just, players that have beautiful golf swings and hit the ball really far. Dare I say that at some point this year, looks like to be around March, he might have got the yips.
I mean, he went from 13th, 18th, 2nd, 10th, 48th, 16th, cut, T55, withdraw.
He started losing like 4 to 8 shots around the green. Including
in the players, he didn't make the cut. He only played 2 rounds and he lost 6.5 strokes around the green.
And 4 on the green. And
yeah.
So, but and if that was like an anomaly, but it kind of is, I mean, that's pretty extreme, but it's kind of what his profile looks like. Yeah. Even as he's turned the rest of the game around. So I'm kind of curious what happened with Pierceson there, because I'm very, very into Pierceson having a good start to his career over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's again, it's a long shot. It's 100-1, but it's a 26-year-old who hits the ball a mile. I'm betting a 46-year-old who hits the ball a mile. Why not bet a 26-year-old too? Again, I'm here to light a little money on fire this week. I had a great week last week. We're rolling in with profits right now, which is a great other reminder to join the IBT Golf family. If you've been tailing me all year, you're over 60 units positive. So just a reminder. Throwing that out there. $3.99 a month. Worth it, if you ask me. Anyways, moving on. I'm throwing this one in here. This one's dumb. I'm lighting money on fire, and I'm admitting to you that I might be doing it. But Alex Fitzpatrick, he was having a great year on the DP World Tour. He wins an event with his brother at the Zurich Classic, and then comes T9th at the Cadillac Championship in what we've already stated is a venue that's not going to play in general too dissimilar to what we were seeing this week. He had a great week on approach, a great week off the tee. He gained 28% accuracy on the field off the tee at Doral. That is past elite, while still gaining distance on the field too. Like, this is a guy who has the potential to be an elite driver of the golf ball. Putter is really what held him back last week. He lost 3.5 strokes on the greens. Not going to be great, but a guy who I think wants to prove that he belongs on the PGA Tour.
And he is proving it so far. I think, no, I don't think Alex Fitzpatrick wins this event, but I don't know that it's foregone conclusion that he doesn't take home another $400,000 or $500,000 check.
Yeah.
I mean, he is basically like, he's going to end up tripling his career earnings in like a 1 month stretch, which is just great. You probably got it.
His T9 last week was like $130,000 more than if he would have won the DP World Tour event he was supposed to play in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, his life has changed in the matter of weeks. And the best thing that he can do is go right into these signature events, make a bunch of money, rack up a bunch of FedEx Cup points, and actually secure the next couple of years in whatever he's going to be getting after. So I'll pull for Alex for a while here. I don't think he wins this week, but I'll pull for Alex.
Yeah, I really don't either. I wanted to include him in here. I definitely like him more on placement plays, top 20, top 30 plays, more so than the outright. These are anything on my board here past Adam Scott is a subunit play. I want to make that very clear. Like this is very much one of the big dogs is probably going to win this event week, but we're going to have some fun. And speaking of having some fun, Jhonny freaking Vegas, 500-1 on FanDuel. Why? We all saw what he did last year at the PGA Championship.
I'm telling you,
round one leader.
He was the round one leader. The question is, where did Jhonny Vegas finish the PGA Championship? Did he even make the cut? I don't know why I'm struggling to find that one here, but yeah,
he finished fifth.
No, he finished fifth. No, he had a great outing out here at Quail Hollow last year. Kind of took the early tournament by surprise. Hasn't really done much to speak of this year. Now we do go back a couple of years ago. He won my hometown event, the 3M Open. Which did you see the news today?
Mm-mm. What'd I miss?
Scottie Scheffler making a stop in good old Blaine, Minnesota.
Maybe I'm flying up to Minnesota.
Yeah, Scottie Scheffler. We're going to be, reaching out and getting those 2-for-1 beers on 13 when he makes a birdie. It's that's going to be a hot ticket here in the Twin Cities. But so Jhonattan Vegas, former 3M Open winner. I don't know. We're in 500-1 territory. Basically, he is. You talk about 40-year-olds that can hit the ball far. Jhonattan Vegas has been a very good off-the-tee player for most of his career. But frankly, what I like about him is that he rates top 10 in my model on both long and difficult golf courses.
Yep. And
course history at Quail Hollow. Heavily buoyed by his play last year, but he has played this golf course fairly well over the years. Does have a T8 back at the 2019 Wells Fargo. We said at the beginning, the golf course is going to be hard and it's going to be long. So I'm going to take a guy that maybe doesn't have everything in his game right now, but can certainly keep up off the tee and thrives under this type of environment. 500-1, like you said, this is a top 40 ladder all the way. Maybe with the payoff at the end.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other parts of his game that are still performing well too. Like he's 15th in the field in 3-putt avoidance. Old man golf, which is crazy to say for a guy with 180 mile an hour ball speed still. But I mean, this is a guy who we've seen have solid performances as recently as last year. Like to start the year off last year, I was making money hand over foot having Jhonny Vegas in DFS lineups. Obviously, we're not seeing that same Jhonny Vegas this year, but this is a guy who's got, a couple top 20s on tour this year at Arnold, at the API, and at the Texas Children's Houston Open. Recent play hasn't been as strong. He's more so losing strokes around the green. But I mean, none of his game over the last 3 starts has really been there for him. But it's Quail Hollow. He's played here well.
This is a 500 to 1. This is a 500 to 1 player. I mean, I said it about Alex Fitzpatrick. Is Jhonattan Vegas really going to win? There is a very tiny path. But find this guy some other spots, whether it's in fantasy or it's on the rest of your betting card, because I do think he does have a pretty good upside when it comes to Quail Hollow.
Yeah, even a 20 to 1 on him over at FanDuel is 8.5 to 1. I'm gonna place that bet after this, as soon as we're done recording the show. So, but guys, that has been our breakdown for the Truist this upcoming week. Thank you guys all for tuning in. As always, we appreciate you guys checking everything out and checking out the show and tuning in every single week. If you are interested, again, make sure to join the IBT Golf family. The link is down in the description below, as well as make sure you download Fantasy Spin. Give that an opportunity. Play $10 to get $30 in bonus plays. But from my co-host, Mike, from me, we thank you all again, and we will see you all at our next tee time.